Then Samuel said to Saul,
stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord has said to me.
The word stay, stand still.
Yes.
And I will tell you, since you didn't get it, I will tell thee what the Lord said to me this night.
And he said
unto him,
say on.
Say on. Read.
And Samuel said,
when
thou wast little in thy own sight,
when thou was little in your own sight,
was thou not made
the heads of the tribe of Israel?
And the Lord anointed
thee king over Israel. Here's a question. He said, when you were just a nobody, God anointed you to be king. And when he did that, you took matters in your own hands. Because if you know the story, God told him, and we just went through that. What to do, how to destroy everything, how to destroy. And so I thought, well, now he didn't really mean. You know, that's what some folks say. When you tell them what you mean, you don't really mean that. They don't really mean that. You ever seen warning packages on products? They have warning note labels on packages. They have stuff on. They even have it on mattresses. You ever seen that on a mattress? Something as simple as laying down on the. They said, "Don't remove this. It's a warning." I don't know if the mattress is going to explode or not, but I trust that warning. I don't mess with it. I don't move it. I don't touch it. Tuck a sheet on it so I don't see it. I mean, some things you don't have to try to see if they work. I know when I was on the police department, they were talking about, you can't carry this pepper spray unless we spray you with it. I said, I don't want none. You ain't got to spray me for me to see these folks sneezing and losing their sight and all of that. I said, but that's silly. You tell me I can't carry the pepper spray without you spraying me. I carry a gun, I ain't never shot myself. But some folk are like that. But they got to see what it does. I said, you don't have to prove it to me. If I heard about people getting shot and they died, you don't have to shoot me so I can die so I can leave it there. But Samuel doesn't, or Saul doesn't get that. And so rather than him being calm and rather than him being quiet, he does just the opposite of what God has him to do. In verse 18, the Bible says, and the Lord sent thee on a journey.
And said, go.
And said, go.
And utterly destroy the city.
He said, utterly destroy the city. The Amalekites.
And fight against them.
Fight against them until they be consumed. How simple is that? Read.
Wherefore
did thou
not obey the voice of the Lord?
You didn't do nothing God told you to do. And yet you go around and toot your horn. You see folk like that? They go around tooting their horn. They celebrate. They in a celebration mode. You haven't done anything God told you to do. Some folks will tell you, well, I've been around. Longevity doesn't count. What counts is doing the will of God. So he said, he sent you on a journey, told you to go utterly destroy the sons of the Amalekites and fight against them until they be consumed. He said,
wherefore thou didst not obey the voice.
You didn't obey it. You didn't hear him? No, he probably did. You know why he probably did? But remember now, he was just an anointed king. That's like what Chris Wallace, what's the name of the guy that said Obama sent a twin up to the lake? He was like that. He got a twin when he got promoted. So he didn't hear anything. He said, in the Lord, he said, wherefore did thou not obey the voice of the Lord?
But did fly
upon the sword.
And did evil in the sight of the Lord.
You did evil in the sight of the Lord. And Saul said unto Samuel,
yea, I have obeyed
the voice of the Lord and have gone the way which the Lord sent
Sydney, and have brought
Agag, king of Ammon, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites.
But the people,
oh, I tell you, we never want, when we mess up, it's never our fault. He said, but see, I did what God told me. Yeah, I'm straight. You know how we do. I'm straight. He said, but the people
took the spoil. Sheep and oxen.
Sheep and the oxen.
Sheep are the things which could have been utterly destroyed.
And sheep are the things which we have been utterly destroyed.
To sacrifice unto the
and
Lord,
what we thought was best, God didn't think of this. We thought God would appreciate us sacrificing. But you didn't stand still. Wow. You were running your mouth. Be quiet. Just listen. That's not what God wants. That's not what God wants. And sometimes when we come into the presence of the Lord, we come into the presence of the Lord. Come to worship. That's what we do. We come to worship. Every once in a while, it's good for us to examine ourselves, check ourselves. We're coming in to worship. And you're not going to get much done in worship. You may occupy a seat. You may even contribute to the collection, but if you don't come with a pure heart, I mean, there's so many distractions going on our job, even in our home, with our family and everything. But if you don't come before His presence, we come into worship. And maybe one of the reasons we miss that point, because a lot of folk don't understand that we're coming to worship rather than going to church. Amen. See, we think we're going to church.
Yes.
And that's a different mentality. But you're coming to worship.
Yes, sir.
And if you know who you were going to meet when you get here, you make a preparation. You don't have to wait till a certain song is sung before you get enthusiastic about praising God. You don't have to wait till the preacher hits a certain sermon or makes a certain rhythm and rhyme that makes you feel good for you to jump up. And when you come to worship, you start making preparation way before you get here.
Amen. Yes, sir.
That's why I'm going to say this. Come on. I'm going to take it back to you. Make me give. This nonchalant attitude. Just walk up here. We should come and feel.
Amen. Amen.
We have to learn to do that. Because we're not trying to rationalize the jump. We think we can rationalize it. Like we done, well, I did show up. So what do you want? Chest or bag? We're not doing God a favor.
No, sir.
And so we have to get busy, and we have to learn to stay in our place and serve the Lord. In Numbers chapter 9. My time is gone. But in Numbers chapter 9. You know this story? Start reading for me, if you will, in verse number 6, I think it is, yes. Start reading in verse 6.
And there were certain men,
The Bible said, and there were certain men
who were defiled by the dead body of a man.
who were defiled by the dead body of me.
And they could not keep the Passover
That
on
they
that
could
day.
not keep the Passover on that day.
And they came
And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day.
And those men said,
And those men said unto him,
we are defiled by the
we
dead
are
body of a man.
defiled by the dead bodies of men.
Wherefore are we kept back,
Wherefore we are kept back,
that we may not offer
that we may
an
not.
offering of the Lord.
Now we don't go to that extreme, but I can see some Church of Christ people. I can see some. Did you get the message? He said, and those men said unto him, we are defiled by dead bodies. We dirty now. We got dirty handling those dead bodies. Defiled. That's all that means. He said, and since we have gotten dirty handling somebody else, wherefore we are kept back. That's hindering us. Kept back, that we may not offer an offering unto the Lord. In other words, we're going to blame it on somebody dead. That's crazy. It's somebody else's fault that I can't give like you told me to. Do you see that? Now read.
And he may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel. And Moses said unto them,
And Moses
stand
said
still.
Now, fellas, stand still. You're moving a little too fast. How are you going to blame this on somebody who had nothing to do with nothing? And many times when we read the story in Luke 10, we call it the Jericho Road, the story. You know that story where Jesus is trying to teach the application of helping your neighbor, and gave the scenario about the priests and the priests, the Levite priests, and all of those on the Jericho Road, and there had been a man found dead. A lot of folks say, well, they didn't help him when they found him because they didn't want to defile themselves. Because in Jerusalem was a place where they were going to worship. And if they touched anything and defiled themselves, got themselves dirty, they wouldn't have been able to serve God for 7 days. But that resonated. That's got to resonate. But in that story, the odd thing in that story was that they had left. And they were going down from Jericho. They weren't going to, but they were coming from. And if you do any history study, that journey by foot was a 2.5-day journey. 2.5 days down, 2.5 days back. 6 days where you could have gotten healed. You'd have been able to participate. But the thing of it is I think when we just react and we're not still and we're not quiet, that anything will be accepted. We will do anything. I often driving on the expressway, and you've seen this. We were going somewhere the other night, seeing a car backed all up on the expressway, and I said, must be a bad wreck in front of us. People, the cars were stopping and going and moving slowly. Well, when we get up further, the wreck's on the other side. Wreck ain't on this side where we are. It's on the other side of the expressway. And I wonder why these folks over here won't drive. The wreck ain't over here. It's like the next story. They want to signify. Most of us, we were talking about this, most of us say, what color was that? Especially for talent. What color was it? What difference does it make? It's human.
Yeah.
But we want to signify. They call that rubbernecking.